Welcome back, Fly Tires. Gonna highlight a minnow pattern we've been playing with for quite a while, but kind of got it dialed out now, we think, finally, with a new material. And this can be an articulated job for our fall minnow hatch that's going on right now. Water drops on the rivers for irrigation, and all the minnows have to swim in the pool. So this is a minnow we've been fishing on the South Fork, Main Snake, other assorted places, if you will. Kills a couple birds with one stone. It's real easy to tie, super durable, and it gives you some nice flash. But if you want to learn how to tie some articulated flies, this is a really cool, easy, fast one to do. So go ahead and get right to it. We're going to start off with, gosh, man, these new Tagata hooks have been amazing. This is the 466 in a size 6. I'm going to use this for my trailing hook on this articulated streamer in a 6, and then we'll jump into the 4 in the 401 for the lead hook on this guy. All right, so starting with some Semper 6/0 chartreuse. We're just going to go about mid shank on this, and then we're going to go ahead and take some of our, I want this fly to ride with this back hook up. So we're going to start with some of our pearl white. This is our new material, Kilowatt. This material is designed to emulate a bucktail, a shiny bucktail. We wanted a little flash, but we wanted that stiffness of bucktail, and it's hard to find good bucktail nowadays, so we just make our own. So we're going to go ahead and just put some of that Kilowatt tied in. Stuff's about 3 inches long, super durable, really cool way to tie lots of bait fish, different patterns. And I'm just going to tie the tail part of this articulated fly, and just want to come up here like so, maybe 2/3 of the way, and then come back on it, basically kind of a hollow fly style like Popovics would do. This material works really good for that style of fly. And go ahead and just do a smaller clump here in the front. Once again, this is going to be the bottom. This is all going to kind of wick together. Excuse me. This will all wick together, and I'm just going to pull that last little clump back. You can make this as sparse or as thick as you want. I want it to kick a bit, so gone fairly thick. I'm going to turn our vise over, our Renzetti, and now we're going to take some of our copper peacock, and we're just going to do basically you're tying a Clouser style fly without the eyes on this back chunk. I'm just going to tie that Kilowatt in the middle of the clump like a mustachio, and then fold that back on itself, and this is just going to make our tail, or the back end, the back hook of this sparkle minnow. Decent whip on it. So now I'm going to do, I got a fine piece of wire, basically like a bobbin threader without the handle on it that I've just folded. And this works really good for doing your articulation. We like, Brandon and I and the gang, the shop, we like backing. You know, you could do this with mono as well, or some beetle-on wire. We kind of like the backing better. It seems to, whoops, got that guy trapped in there. Got a little kink in my wire. Straighten that out so it'll pull through. And the reason we do that not connected to a handle is so we can open it up and just take that loop out of there. We're just making a girth hitch, basically, half hitch. With our backing, this is 20 pound. I like stretching this stuff out a little bit, getting that knot kind of tight. And then I'll hit it with a little bit of UV or just a little head cement. kind of sets it a little bit, like so. At the same time, I can put a little drop on there. So now we're going to put our articulation beads in. We're going to do the same. Use that same tool, that piece of wire bent over that we did, like so. And we're just going to put some glass beads on here. I like 3. Seems like a lot of people use 3. 3 seems to be pretty good. If you break one, you still got a couple in there, but you don't end up with a huge mega gap. And so just put the beads on that piece of wire like that, and now we'll put these both pieces of our backing through there, like so, and then we can just pull the beads right onto there. Nice easy way to set that. And you can pre-tie a bunch of these like this, what a lot of us will do, you know, but for now we'll just jump right into that next hook. I'll just lay this down, and we'll take that number 4, 401. Really good steel on these hooks from Moonlit. Love the Tagata series. Strong, sharp, pretty sweet. So I'm just going to start my thread and build a good thread base on this number 4, and then we'll add our articulated tail. Back here. And we'll keep in mind that we want this one to ride like so, so want the light color on the bottom, like that. And I'll just put some wraps over our backing, right on top of the shank. Before you get too many in there, we can kind of seat this up to kind of get it to ride the way we want. Whoops, a little much. I want it just to come right off of that bend. Anchor that down. Now we'll just move forward and lash the backing down up to the front of the hook, like so. This actually works pretty nice for putting clouser eyes on too, adding this backing base. It gives those eyes something to hook onto, something to kind of cinch into, so put a drop of head cement right there. And the eyes I'm going to use on this one, we love these realistic brass eyes from MFC. This particular one is large in hollow silver, I think. I'm going to strap that on top with our figure 8 wraps. I like to do 10 one way and 10 the other way. Backing's kind of fighting me a little bit, but we'll make it through it. And then I'll pull this backing back over and cinch it down. A lot of times I'll tie that, those eyes in a lot better, but for time purposes, we're not going to mess with it. Okie doke. So this particular fly is going to be a little rainbow trout. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some more of our Kilowatt and the pearl white, and I'm just going to kind of match that up with my tail right here. Give it a little strap down, and just like a clouser, I'll just move that right up to behind the eye, like so. And then I want to put in a little of for our belly on this to give it some ribs. We do this on our hollow perch, our hollow rainbow, the hollow minnow series. This is essentially just an articulated version. This is pastel pink, hydro hackle. And what we're going to do with this is we're just going to wrap it forward. If you're tying a circus peanut, we'll probably cover that one next. This is the hydro peanut. This hydro hackle kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You get the body wrap, real thin, real strong body wrap, and then you get the fibers, the flowing fibers of it. Really tough stuff. And the nice thing about not having to do like a chenille body and then a polar chenille or, or slapping, that type of thing, is This fly drops pretty quick. You fish this on a dry line, even with these brass eyes, on a 9-foot leader right now. On the river, this, that's kind of how I've been fishing it. But also, they work well on a sink tip because they're not as heavy as lead eyes. They don't tend to chip up. They look more realistic. So once I get that hydro in there and strapped down, just make sure I know how many fibers trapped. And then, like our crinkles on clouser, I'll just go ahead and fold that Kilowatt material back and pull it back on itself, and I'll do a wrap. I'll show you from the top. I'm coming from my side in front, your side behind. A couple like that. Anchor it. Do the same thing on the other side. And that'll hold that Kilowatt material down to form that kind of belly shape that we're looking for. Nice taper in the fly. Here, a couple wild ones, I'll cut them. And then just to fill this guy out, I'll take just another little clump. And this stuff doesn't take too long to work with. Usually, by the time you get to a half a pack, you've kind of got how sparse you should be tying it. But just like any of our other materials, less is more on a lot of the bucktail style stuff. You can always add more, but it's hard to take it off. So there's our belly on that bug, like so. And now we'll just go ahead and invert it. And I'm going to use my scissors here to part that hydro on top. And now we're just going to take a decent clump of our Kilowatt in Copper Peacock. They're a great color for these rainbow minnows. I'm not going to use too much, but definitely want to kind of do it in one clump here. So a clump like so on that inverted hook, and then I'll take 2/3 of it for my length for my wing on the top, like so, and leave 1/3 of it out the front. Cinch that down right behind that eye on that Tagata hook. Nice big eye. And then flip the Kilowatt over, and you end up with a real clean finish, which you can on bucktail as well, but you really got to practice at it to get a clean head with bucktail. Like I said, this one adds your flash, gets your your filler. Can't wait to see what some of the saltwater tires are going to do with this stuff. I mean, some of the bait fish that we've come up with in the last half a year or so with it has been pretty wild. The musky guys are liking it as well. But anyway, there's our articulated hollow minnow, hollow rainbow with Kilowatt. New material, we'll highlight that. Give you some more info out. Right now, maybe 15 colors. Probably by the 1st of October, we'll probably have our full range of 24 colors or so out there. But this one's super durable. Great movement. Drops through the water column really fast. Super easy to tie if you want to get into tying some of these articulated flies. Basically it's a 2-material bug. We've been tying it in some other colors too, our little brown trout, some perchy colors, Anyway, a lot of fun to tie this one. And there you have it in a nutshell, the Kilowatt crinkle killer crusher kapoo. Thanks again.